We've all been taught about the boogeyman, the monster under the bed. We've all been taught that Satan's evil and so on. We've all been taught things that scare us. But there's two things I hate about my mother. Her face. And I think that she was probably more evil than Satan himself. And basically I believe that my mother's sitting on Satan's throne, telling him to get her drinks and having him under control. So I really wouldn't be too concerned if he did exist. He's freaking not happy now. But I remember years ago, me and a couple of mates who went up to a place called Gosford Railway Dam. And we'd had a few to drink and a few billies and a few cones and so on. And our imagination was running wild. And we heard against this wall, we heard this like, and we're like, what's that noise? Wonder what it is. And we went searching, we couldn't find it. It wasn't prominent in any area. And we thought maybe it was like a frog caught in a pipe or something, and it was echoing and resonating. It was like, and we started making up the story about the one-armed axeman. And the story goes like this. Two brothers were axemen, and they were up in the woods one day. And one of the brothers chopped down a tree, and it landed on his brother. And he panicked. He's like, oh my God, I've killed my brother. And he runs off. He's like, oh my God, I'm going to go to jail for murder. I've killed my brother. Oh my God. So he runs and leaves. And he then the guy who's the tree's fallen on him wakes up. He's not dead. His arm's just trapped under the tree. But he realises he's going to die if he stays here. So he gets his axe and chops his arm off. And as we made this story up, that basically he was running around in rage and in anger looking for his brother. You left me to die, you bastard. Knock! And chopping down trees with one hand. And we made up the story and went off, back to school the next week. And we went back about a week later, and we used to sleep in a cave. Just take the sleeping bags, no tents, just in the cave, which was very close to the dam. And one mate, he's laying in his sleeping bag and he's getting a little paranoid. The next thing you know, a branch something fell into the dam. And he's jumped up out of his sleeping bag with his knife in his hand going, where's the one-armed axeman? I'll kill him, I'll take him on. It was petrified of something that we created a weekend before. That's how the human mind works. We've been told stories of Satan. We've been told there's Chinese Whispers. Chinese Whispers is a game where you put 20 people in a circle or 100 people in a circle. And you say something like, nice and simple, Jesus was a really nice guy. By the time it comes back around, he walked on water, he healed the sick, he did all this stuff. And all someone said was, bloody nice guy. And that's how Satan came about. That's how all of these myths, fables and fairy tales and all of these boogeymen were created. To scare little children. And nowadays with modern movies and green screens and all sorts of things, you can make it out to be so scary that people end up believing it. But the fact is, it was something created to scare you. That's all it comes down to. So if you understand that what is actually in the dark that you are scared of is actually there in the daytime. It's just you fear what you cannot see. And you've got to learn to understand what is in the dark. The world cannot flood. Satan was just basically whatever. I remember years ago, I was into heavy metal, had heavy metal t-shirt on, and I was sitting at the train station. And this woman walks over to me and starts talking. She says, so, do you believe in God? I'm like, no. Do you believe in Satan? I went, yeah. And I was just messing with this chick. And she turns around and says, because I was sick of it, I was getting all these God guys coming up to me all the time. And I just turned around to her and she says, Lucifer was the right arm of God, and God is the creator of the universe. But Lucifer decided that he wanted to be worshipped, and he went off and created hell. And I just turned around and says, hang on a second. If God created the universe and everything in it, what was he trying to do? Drum up some opposition? God created Satan. And she's like, So, that's the story anyway. It's like, if God created Adam and Eve, that's a little bit kinky, because who were the parents and the children having sex with? If it all started with the two, right? Where did it? Who was? What were they? Taswegian? Sorry, guys. No, but it comes down to everyone has a belief on God, right? Everyone has an opinion, and everyone will try to force that opinion onto you. I just have a simple opinion. Something created this universe. Something bigger than me, bigger than you, bigger than all of us combined, and left shortly afterwards. That's my personal opinion. I don't force my opinion of God onto you. That's just what it is. I remember when I was living up in Maitland, have the utmost respect for these people, because they were Seventh-day Adventists, and basically from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday, they didn't do anything. They just sat at home, they read the Bible. Right? And I remember my mother getting upset about this, because I went home and just said this. My mate's mum just turns around to me and says, oh, what religion are you? And I said, I don't have a religion. And she says, oh, okay, no worries. That was it. And I went home and said to my mother, she asked me what religion I was, and she went up there and had a go at her for, but all it was they respected that I didn't have their religion. But many years ago I was working in a workshop, and a guy comes in, two guys came in, and I think they were Jehovah Witnesses. And they turn around and says, we've got the Bible and we're trying to spread the word of God. And I'm like, well, that's just your word. He goes, oh, no, but we've got it right. And I said, mate, it's your perception. He said, oh, but we perceive we've got it right. I said, look, dude, it is text on a page. You can read it any way you want. I said, I've written a book, it's 120 pages for kids, that basically lets them be themselves and lets them grow up and have their own opinion. And he says, oh, interesting. But we've got, and he tried forcing his religion onto me and his belief of God. And in the end, I've just got the shits big time, and I just turn around to the guy and says, look, buddy, would you appreciate it if it's, say, 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning, I rocked up to your place, half a dozen dudes, Harleys, hookers, all of us stark naked, bottle of bourbon in each hand, and said, welcome to my fucking religion. And he went, well, to be honest, I would not appreciate that. And I just looked at him and said, mate, that's what you're doing to me right now, so fuck off. And he apologised and left. Said it in a rude manner, but basically he was being rude to me by pushing his ideals onto me. You should never push your ideals onto a single person. You can promote your product, you can promote your belief, you can promote your religion, but don't force it on anyone. Unfortunately, that's what the Catholics did when they went on their crusades to take over the world. But look at it now. It's like Islam. To believe in Islam, you're a Muslim. And to my knowledge, the very word Islam means peace. So recently the Pope got up and said that if you're not a Catholic, then you're not a true Christian. What's that? But if you're not what he wants you to be, you're wrong, you're going to burn in hell? What sort of person is that? Someone that's trying to control you and convince you that you're wrong, you're going to burn in hell because you're not what he wants you to be. No better than a psychiatrist that stands over a child and says you've got a disease, you've got attention deficit disorder. All these people are just putting you down to make you feel lousy about yourself. But the fact is, you're you. Stand up, be proud, and say, I'm not like everybody else. I am an individual. And just be you. Because you are you. And never let anyone ever take that away from you. Ever. Bisexual.